Yeah. Every morning, see.
And go ahead.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It is 2000 hours Eastern, and this is WTF Nation Radio, and it's time for Kicking It with Koz. I'm here. I am Koz. Owl is here as well. He's typing right now because he's got to do a little bit of modification to some things, and he can't think and type and talk at the same time. So he's off doing his thing. He'll be here on camera in just a second. So today is, what is it? The 26th day of January, 2020. And, dude, we're at the end of January already. I can't believe it, man. It's just, I think January just blew by. Partially because most of it for me has been, I've been like vacation, I guess. For the better part of the first week of the month, I was on vacation. And, the last couple of weeks have just kind of blasted on by. Not sure how to explain that. I'd like to welcome everybody, not only on the Facebooks here on our radio page here at WTF Nation Radio, but a big welcome to those that are on the main page, the U.S. Army WTF Moments page. And we are back hitting on all cylinders because we're also we're on Mixer, we're on YouTube. Hello, everybody out there in YouTube. Where else are we? We're on Twitter tonight, and we are on several other platforms. I know iHeartRadio, we're there. We are on Stitcher. We're on, a whole bunch. I'm going to get a list together, and then I'll actually do a proper welcome everybody. This is really great. It's kind of like a little streamlined thing. We're on a bunch of different platforms, and it's a pleasure to see everybody out there. I hope everyone's Sunday's doing okay.
Well, I now that I can't, since I can't really rub my tummy and walk at the same time, I'm back.
Well, good. Congratulations. You didn't hurt yourself, did you?
I did not hurt myself.
Outstanding.
And that's a good thing. So we are up and running, and everything's looking good. 10 by 10, 5 by 5, or however you want to say it. So... hello, everyone, and good to see everyone.
Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday. Oh.
I saw you do a test broadcast yesterday, and I'm like, dude, did I lose a day?
Right? I mean, that takes it definitely took a lot, but we are here, we're up, and we're good. It's good to see everybody. Welcome, welcome. And it's another week, and we're almost, do you believe this? We are almost to February.
This is the last week of January.
Yeah. Isn't that a trip?
And it is, the 31st is Friday. And I know that because it's payday. And that's my hanging out with the sloths and the otters day. And I will have pictures.
I thought you did that this weekend.
What's that?
I thought you did that this weekend.
No, that's this coming weekend.
Oh,
Last
cool.
week I said it's not this Friday, but the following Friday.
Okay, so wow. Yeah, that's getting up here close. I actually envious. That does sound like a lot of fun.
I'm actually taking a day off of work. We have, I think I mentioned this last week, we had like between Thanksgiving and Christmas holidays, we do the 980 schedule, so it's like every other Friday we get off.
Yeah.
But during the Christmas shutdown, I think during Thanksgiving and during Christmas, we were robbed of like 3 days total, 3 Fridays that we would have normally been off. So they gave us, I guess, comp time for it. So we got like 24 hours.
Nice.
To use as we wish before the end of March. Okay. Now, I was going to be an awesome father and use them to go see my daughter graduate. And I thought she was graduating toward the end of March, but that got pushed off to the middle of April.
Oh, okay.
So I'm like, man, I don't have to use regular vacation for that.
Yeah.
So I'm hanging out with some wild animals.
Literally.
Literally, yes.
Well, hello there on A1 AL1 Camo. It's good to see you. Hello, Tyler. It is good to see you. And Hello. Oh, goodness.
We are on the main page, right? I got to pull them up.
Yeah, I mean, we got all sorts of... Hello, Shane. Hello, everybody. Hello, Philly. It's good to see everybody. I am happy. Welcome, welcome. We are up. We're running. I'm able to see everyone talking, so please don't hesitate to chat because we are monitoring everybody.
Yeah, because we have, with our new technology here, thank you, thanks to the Tech Center here at WTF Nation Radio, we have the person broadcasting can actually see it's an integrated chat where whoever's doing the broadcasting can see all of the chat messages that are being input through like YouTube and Mixer, and I don't think Twitter is there yet, just because they don't like to do that stuff. But all of our other platforms,
exactly.
You can.
That's just it. Okay, I see. Hello, Gary. How are you? Hello, Miss Holly. How are you? And just like the NSA, you are right. AL1 Camo. And Tyler is saying, go G's.
That's next weekend.
Hey, yeah, and look, and we're going to be doing a show too.
On Super Bowl Sunday? Are you kidding me?
Unless you have plans.
Is that? I'm guessing that's next week.
I think so.
Yeah. Yeah, February 2nd. Yeah, that makes sense. Well, I guess we'll be giving game updates or something like that.
I think that would be a good thing. I think that would be a fun thing. So everyone, we will be here and we will even monitor the game somehow just to make sure you're updated as we talk about silly stuff so you don't have to watch all the harassment. Hello, Linda. Good to see you. Hello, David. Good to see you also. Hello, Eva.
Here.
What'd you say?
I said Eva's here.
Yeah, Eva's here. Oh, it is good to see everybody today. And if you didn't know, Sergeant's Time is back.
And the Monday edition.
What?
And the Monday edition.
And the Monday edition. Does not mean that's all of our lineup. We're just talking about what we know for sure.
Right. We got more coming.
That's right. So Tyler, good to see you. The Human. We got someone with the screen name The Human.
That's good. The Human's here.
It's good to see you.
Before we started the show, I said, hey, we can talk about my heartburn or my indigestion right now. The older you get, you kind of eat foods, and then you realize, like, oh, got time to add that to the list of stuff I shouldn't eat.
Uh-huh.
I ate a Sicilian-style pizza today.
Oh.
And that's got, like, sausage on it, and it's got salami on it, and it's got a lot of stuff on there. And that's really hasn't been, and that was at lunch today.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that would definitely cause me some indigestion, too. And yes, Linda, if you can't see it, okay, there we go. No swelling anymore. It's kind of black and blue, which is what it's supposed to be now. And
is the cat still alive?
What?
Is the cat still alive?
Cat is still alive, and he hasn't done it since.
Didn't get rid of him?
No. It was, like I said, it was my fault. I snuck up on the little guy. So, nope, I'm actually doing better. And I'm even off the antibiotics. And hello, the Human it's Brandon. So, hello, Brandon. Good to see you. He identified himself, so we knew who he was. No, I'm doing so much better now. I'm actually off the antibiotics. Last night, if you don't know, antibiotics flush your system of things, including medicine.
Oh yeah, it just kind of nullifies anything.
Exactly, and I was for the last week and a half. My medicine has been being flushed out of me, and so come Friday or Thursday, my last day, I was ready to, start building my medicine back up. Come Friday,
and one thing I'm going to have to say, thank you very much for actually taking all of your medication. A lot of people will start taking antibiotics, they'll begin to feel better, and they'll say, I don't need this anymore, or I'll save this for the next time. And then they stop taking their antibiotics. They don't take the full regimen of it. And then it stops working, and then they get sick again.
Oh, no, I knew better. Trust me. I used to lecture privates on that. Ashley, first time watching. Good to see you, Miss Ashley. Welcome, welcome. Welcome to Kicking It with Koz. You are on the Veteran Radio. So, good to see you. No, I ended up, for the first time in about a week and a half, first night of good sleep. I still hurt. It's going to take a week for my medicine to build back up, but I feel better. And I actually slept with it comfortably. So that's the reason I can actually put on a smile today and kind of not look quite as worn out and grumpy.
Hey, I mean, you didn't even do any game streaming this week.
No. My wrist wasn't moving that well until probably Tuesday or Wednesday. And I just didn't want to... and between that and the fact that the antibiotics had me feeling dizzy, no way was I going to try to stream. No way.
It might have been fun.
Oh, tell me. Yeah, everybody would have had a good laugh. That's for sure. I would have been like, whoa, whoa.
No, what was that game you played? Dead Before Dawn? Dead by Daylight? Dead by Daylight.
Dead by Daylight. That's so one of the games I play, yes. Definitely would have been falling out of my chair. I have a new genre. I'm playing driving games. I actually have a steering wheel, pedals, and shifter.
Get out of town. Like Mario Kart stuff or like...
No, semi-truck. It's called American Truck Simulator.
So you need to have an RV simulator.
They don't have them, but there's one that's close that I'm actually going to be buying. It's American Bus Simulator, and it's like an RV. And then also, get this, they have rescue simulator. Where
like you drive an ambulance?
Where you drive ambulances and fire trucks.
So you run over people and then you turn back around and you pick them up and take them to the hospital.
Kind of like that, yeah.
You got to mix a little GTA in there with saving lives.
You know, I just sat there going, this sounds like fun. So I'm actually going to pick that up. And you run with full sirens and everything. You're running through traffic, avoiding cars, everything.
You fancy yourself as much of a doctor?
What?
I said, do you fancy yourself as much of a doctor or a surgeon or anything?
No.
Because they have, come on. It's a VR game. It's a surgery simulator.
I know. I've actually, that's come to my attention. They're like, why don't you try this? You say you were a medic. It's like, you know what?
They're hilarious, dude. Because you can, it's really fun to see people that stream that game.
Yeah.
And they're just, they're having fun with it. They're not trying to save the patient's life. They're just disassembling the human who's on the who's on the operating table. It's I mean, in real life that would be frowned upon, but seeing it done in a joking kind of way is very, very funny.
It might be interesting. Who knows? Tyler, I had a feeling Tyler would say something. You're taking the Swift driving college cars course.
And they're going to mail you a Class A license or Class C license? Or?
Class A.
Class A.
Yeah, and if you don't know, if you haven't been part of the truck driving community, which I have been, Swift is considered the Carl, the Carl of the driving industry.
Swift trucks.
Swift drivers. They're known as the Carl of the or sergeant or private Snuffy.
I see those trucks on the road all the time.
Mm-hmm. And you don't want to know what they allow in their ranks. Trust me. Oh, Cheryl, happy birthday, happy 30th, and may many more.
Her birthday is the 30th.
Oh, yours is the 30th. Okay, tell you what.
Maybe she's 30. She looks 30.
We're going to do this Marilyn Monroe style.
No, I'm not.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Cheryl. Happy birthday to you.
Oh, I need a shower now.
Doesn't that make you feel all greasy?
Yeah.
Hello, Carl. How are you? Oh, that was fun. Can you tell I'm feeling better, everybody? I'm off the antibiotics.
Really?
Yay!
It's almost like it's like listening to Ice when he's been drinking a lot of coffee.
Oh, speaking of which, Ice's show went very well. He was the first one to lift off with this great platform. We are on 14 platforms that asked me to name them, and I probably can't. So, look around. We're out there.
I did a little rundown off the top of my head, and I didn't get them all. I know I didn't get them all.
Well, yeah, some of them. I mean, we're talking South America. And over in the Asian area, because we do have soldiers stationed over there, and we want to reach out and touch them, and not in a personal way. Oh, my. I got everybody riled up with the Swift thing. Swift can see what I can F up. There you go today.
I guess the big news right now is, I guess everyone has heard, Mr. Kobe Bryant and his daughter Gianna are among 9 dead in a helicopter crash in Calabasas, which is California.
And I'm not one to sit there and dance around, because truthfully, death is death. It's not a good thing, and
it's pretty permanent, so I've heard.
It's permanent, and so therefore, I'm sad to hear that Kobe and his daughter died along with 9 others. That is a sad thing. And I wish his family well, and those other families that have had loved ones on that helicopter, I wish them well.
It's always, and being, I'm like eyebrow deep in the helicopter community, so I'm always looking at, the cause of the accident. Was it a pilot error? Was it a mechanical failure? Was it a software failure on the helicopter?
Yeah.
So that would always be interesting to learn about.
I agree, and I'm sure we'll hear more about it, especially since it's such a high profile very soon.
It looks like a Sikorsky S-72.
Oh, Cheryl says she's going to be 71.
Get out of town, dude.
Good for you, Cheryl. Good for you.
Way to hang in there.
So, hey, that's great. I'm glad to hear you've made it that far. I hope I can make it that far and then some. And I hope you have many years to come, lady. Good for you. Oh, my. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, and how can you complain, right?
Look at that. Look at that. My aircraft identification is on. It was an S-76. The helicopter was an S-76.
Yeah. Yeah, Linda said that's frustrating because, unfortunately, that's all over the news, and that's about all you're seeing right at the moment.
Is it really? Okay.
You would know, Linda, I'm not watching. I'm actually, my wife. See, a lot of you, Koz knows this, but a lot of you don't know. My wife and I are best friends, okay? We do things together. Koz will tell you every Friday, you're not really going to hear from me. Shopping day. My wife and I actually go to the commissary holding hands and walk around shopping. That is kind of a date for us. Every week, 1 day a week, we hold hands and we walk around, we talk, we get our food, and we just enjoy ourselves. Because the commissary...
Skip? Do you skip at all?
No, we do not skip. Smart ass. No, Carl, he was not a Huey mechanic in Nam.
No, I was a aircraft countermeasure systems person. So if it had countermeasures on it, I worked on it.
But not in Nam.
Not in Nam, no.
I was not in Nam, and he's younger than me. Okay. Anyway, so that's what we do every Friday. That starts our weekend, and then Saturday and Sunday, my wife and I do everything pretty much together. we'll sit there and watch Netflix. We'll binge watch something if that's what we feel like we're going to do. If we are going to clean house, that's what we do together. Everything is together because she works pretty late during the week, so I don't get as much time with her. So I try to spend as much time as possible with her when she's home. And Koz can tell you, I'm not always that easy to get a hold of when she's home. It may take a couple times messaging or calling me before I actually see something. Because, again, her and I we kind of pay attention to each other and not much else. So,
Carl wants to know if you would hold his hand. Commissary.
Carl, you're funny.
So was that a yes?
You know what? If that's what it would take to make you feel good, fine, I'll hold your hand. But then I have to be holding my wife's hand, so you'll have to push the cart. Oh, by the way, have any of you yet taken advantage of your VA card? Okay, I've been asking, and so far, Mud Puppy called in. Okay.
Oh, is this about the commissary deal?
Yeah. Now, has anybody gone to the commissary with their card yet? If not, remember, guys, this is your benefit. You earn this. Use it. Okay? I'm not going to go on a rant about it, but I want to remind you. Okay? You have that ability to go on to base. The first time it may take a hot minute because from what it sounds like, everybody's the same. You have to go in, show a driver's license and your VA card. They'll scan your VA card, and then you can get through the gate. And if you want to take a loved one with you, depending on command, is how long of a pass they can give you. Some only a day, some 3 days, some a week, some a month, and some 3 months, and some 6 months, and some are a year. It depends on the command.
Oh, you mean as far as getting on base?
Yes, as far as getting on base. So I want to, any of you out there, please let me know. I want to know how it went. That to me is exciting news, and I want to hear that you guys are doing things with your benefits. And remember, spring and summer are coming up. If you got an RV or if you like go out hiking, you can go onto bases now for that. You can go onto those military reservations. So, all right, I said my ditty.
Go hang around on the ranges. Do some hiking.
Exactly.
Across the impact area.
I know for a fact, I'd have to go look it up, but there is a lake that's off base of one of the major bases that is in a kind of a canyon area that is an RV place that's shared by the Navy, Army, and Marines. And it's supposedly a really beautiful. So guys, come on. This is your benefit. You earn this. Use it. And for those of you that sat there and said, when your wife or let's go out somewhere. Well, we can't afford it. Guess what? $20 a night for an RV. Maybe, depending on where you go, as high as $36 a night, but that's for an ocean view on a 40-foot pad. Okay?
I think I'm going to be using my benefit because now you can get into the national parks, so I'll probably use mine for Yellowstone. I've been to Yellowstone. I love going to Yellowstone. It's so massive.
For that, actually, you have to put in a form, and they'll give you what they call the Gold Pass.
It's the Gold Pass. It's like $10 for processing, and it's just like a universal.
Exactly. So, let's see Why do combat vets who served overseas be denied for a CCW?
Why would they be denied? Well, you've got to pass a NICS check.
Yeah.
If you pass a NICS check, then.
Okay. Okay. No. These are the type of things that I'm trying to remind everybody about. Okay. Let's see. I'm just figuring out that spandex are out of style. I don't know the benefits card. I love you, Eva.
Well, the thing is, they're called Spanx now, right?
Yep. Yep.
It's basically another name for what spandex used to be.
Eva, what I'm talking about is for soldiers. They have a VA card that they issued when they are told, or once they've gone through the board, they're told how much they qualify for. And on that card, it says service. If it's service connected, it says service connected. And if you're service connected, you now have the ability to go onto bases and use base facilities, whereas before you could not. And that's what I'm talking about, Eva. Eva's saying she's saving up for a bicycle. The outdoors are calling her name.
That was one thing. When my daughter was living here with me, she wanted a bike.
Mm-hmm.
So we went in halves together, and I got her it's a nice bike. It's a really nice bike.
Yes.
But it didn't make the trip to Montana. So I've got this awesome bike here.
Ooh.
For probably springtime it's basically spring here all the time, but until summer, and then it's just hot as hell.
Exactly.
Yeah, I could definitely see me riding that bike. It's a really nice bike. It doesn't have inflatable tires. They're solid tires.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
All the money on air I'm saving.
He's saving the planet by not having air tires.
I don't take the air out of the atmosphere and shove them and capture it in the tires. I don't have to do that anymore. So it's more air for us to breathe. You're welcome.
So if you haven't been, okay, we're not going to do news because now that we have Ice back, he does the news. So we're going to just talk about whatever sounds good. And, well, okay, we're going to lecture Mr. Koz that he is getting older and he needs to start watching what he eats and he needs to think through what he eats now.
Well, now I know I can't eat Sicilian pizza.
I could have told you that if you had talked.
And it's not like I ate it. It's been a long time since I've had salami. And I think it was the salami that kind of did me in.
Or didn't you say there was Italian
tomato
sausage
sauce?
too?
Like if I have like a pizza, for example, at lunchtime,
yeah,
I'm fine. If I have it at dinner time, then that's a problem.
That's because your body has a chance to digest and you're moving around during the day. By the time evening comes, one, you're slowing down, and two, you're going to go to bed.
Yeah, and laying down just kind of.
And that's going to sit there, and that's just going to cause all sorts of indigestion.
Yeah, I've got the Pepto-Bismol, and I've got some of the Tums tablets, and I'm prepared.
Uh-oh, Linda is already saying you need a girlfriend.
Oh gosh. What, to pamper me and take care of me when I have the man flu and I can't operate?
There you go, Linda. You need to put in the application with Spanky and Mom. They're taking applications. They're doing interviews. They're very picky about who they allow around Koz. How do you feel about our Second Amendment going away? I kind of heard the results of that Virginia march actually was a positive.
I don't think the Second Amendment's going anywhere. I think it'll still be there, but individual states will utilize their states' rights, and they will make it more difficult to probably get ammunition. The shall issues may go away and turn into may issues.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of different other loopholes the anti Second Amendment people can jump through that can make things difficult. I don't think it's going to go away altogether.
I agree.
I think it might be difficult for a time, but then I think it's going to be fine.
The other part is I think hey Ross, good to see you, buddy. Hello John, I didn't see you. I apologize. Things change. That's the one constant is things change. as much as they change, they stay the same. We've gone through stuff like this. 40.
Of course, this is also the election season, so
Exactly.
you're going to find this is more on the forefront of things. Every 2 years, it'll be on the forefront of things.
And the heat gets turned up during the election seasons. People try to flex their muscle and say, "Well, we won this, and we won this, and we now have the right." Well, their decisions do have consequences, and that will come back on them. No matter what they say, their actions are going to come back on them. And you can't do things and piss off 3/4 of your state without it coming back. You just can't. So it will come around. I know it's scary sometimes, Justin. Trust me. And he says, "Well, prove it." Look in the past. And I'm going to say history has gone through things like this before. It really has. Guns, what is it? What do they call? Assault weapons have been banned before. Took off the ban. Found out it didn't work. It was a worthless ban. Okay, it's not something new. This is
on the Virginia ballot. Just to keep everybody up there, it's going to be, of course, the President of the United States is up. U.S. Senate elections, U.S. House elections are going to be on the ballot. School board elections are on the ballot, and municipal government is on the ballot. And I can pretty much double guarantee you that there may be some people looking for jobs, especially with the House. I don't know who's up for re-election this year for the state of Virginia. And those who are up for election, who was backing the governor on the weapons ban.
And that's just it. And okay, elections have consequences. Vote. Research. Don't just check a box. Research who you're voting for. Make sure, even though I'm considered a conservative now. I didn't used to be. I used to be considered actually a moderate, period. Neither way, okay? You research who you're voting for. See what their record is. That's the problem that we had these last couple election cycles, is people were lying through their teeth to us. But if you looked at their records, they, what they're saying they're going to do and what they did when they did have a chance to vote, completely opposite. And they're like, "Oh no, I'm not that person anymore." Then wait for an election cycle and let's see what let's see who you vote for and what you vote for then. Don't just come out a year after an election cycle and say, "Oh no, that was a year ago. I'm no longer that person." No, that's what a lot of people fell for. And that's the reason the House of Representatives ended up with a bunch of Democrats who wanted impeachment before they even got sworn into office.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of judging somebody by their performance. I don't pay attention. I do pay attention to the words, and then I marry those up against the actions that person has taken.
Exactly.
And if they match, and if it matches my values, then yeah, they can have my support. But until then, I don't pay much attention to lip service. I always wait to see what actions have been taken.
And Linda, you're right. The Second Amendment has been threatened since I've been a kid. Okay?
That's a long time.
This is a constant way of trying to take control, because there are people who believe that you and I are dumb, we don't know what we're doing, and we shouldn't be left in charge. So they think that we need to have socialism or communism. They want to be in charge. They want to run every aspect of our life. They want the power, and they want you to go home, do what you're told, and be happy with it. But that threat has been there ever since I was a kid. Okay? It's nothing new. It's scary because it's more prominent but it really is nothing new.
It seems to be more toxic now than it has been in the past.
Exactly.
I've been interested, in politics, since, I joined the Army in 88.
Mm-hmm.
I graduated in 87, and I joined. I was on delayed entry, so
Yeah.
I reported for active duty in 88. And that's like basically, that's about when I started getting interested in politics and paying attention to the people that were in charge, on both the federal side and the local municipality wherever I lived at that certain time.
And see, with me, I started paying attention because I was actually around during the hippie movement, during the free love movement. I was also around when the first man walked on the moon. I was around during all that time, and Vietnam War. You know, they had talk like that during the Vietnam War. All those college campuses, everybody knows there were riots, but the undertones that were there is something they don't talk about. And they're exactly what they are right now. Same undertones. It's just they're allowed to get away with saying it on the news. Back then they weren't.
And now you've got your news cycle is much shorter than it used to be. Something might have happened, but back then you weren't going to hear about it until the evening news at the earliest.
Exactly.
Now basically the smoke is still billowing up and you're getting pictures on your phone.
Exactly. I mean, the media, with social media the way it is, I think sometimes social media can be overwhelming because it can bring up things and bring them to the forefront before people have a chance to really research and see what happened. I mean, and then, you have people guessing at what happened rather than knowing the facts. And that can be a problem.
And a lot of the news that you're seeing on social media, they're not from journalistic sources. They're just people.
Exactly.
And they're not held to a journalistic standard, so they don't have to be right.
Hello, Ronald. It is good to see you. Welcome, welcome. I'm always happy to see people coming into our chats. You are welcome anytime, anywhere. Welcome to WTF Nation Radio. Linda? Yes, I am that old, dear. I can push these. Bree, I'm going to say this. Okay. Kids are brought up.
She's absolutely correct.
Oh, she's correct. Kids, unfortunately, are idealistic. They've been raised idealistically. Okay? So, socialism, and I'm going to be very honest, socialism, idealistically, in a perfect world, in a perfect utopia, is great. But all it takes is one corrupt person and the whole system falls apart. One person.
Well, it's like the saying, eventually with socialism, you're going to run out of other people's money.
Well, but in a perfect system, it's not about money. It's about forwarding. So therefore, money isn't even taken into account.
That's why it fails.
Exactly. And so again, they don't teach that part of it in academia. They just teach in socialism, everybody's equal, and your college education makes you an elite, and that holds you above other people. And they give them this thing that really flutters their head with nonsense and not reality. And that's the problem is the parents didn't ground their children. They didn't, not meaning ground as in punish, they didn't ground them. They didn't teach them reality before they went to the college. They didn't sit there and say, hey, if you want to, you want to know real socialism? There was a teacher, this was funny, a teacher in college at a conservative school. A bunch of his students were talking out of line and hyping up socialism. And you know what he did? He said, okay, no problem. I don't have a problem with that. You want to be socialistic? We'll be socialistic. Everybody in here, we are going to, from now on, grade socialistically. And the first test they got, They all got a C. And they're all like, well, hold it. I mean, some of these people really worked and they got every answer right. He says, socialism says nobody gets better, nobody gets worse. We take the middle. The next test, everybody got a C minus. By the time finals came around, they all got an F. Because everybody stopped studying. Why study if you're going to get just a C? His students learned a very valuable lesson about socialism, and they hated it. Okay, we have to teach the kids. There are parents that rely on the school system, after school stuff, TV and games to teach their kids. They do not interact with their kids. And that's where it all goes wrong. Because if you talk to your kids, they're going to say, hey, Dad, what's the deal about this? Or they're going to hear your views about people not earning what they get. That's what we parents give to our kids.
I don't know, for both of my girls, man, we were both me and my wife, my ex-wife right now, but we were very, very extremely super, we weren't helicopter parents, but we were making sure that they were learning. And if they needed help, we'd get them help. And if we weren't able to help them, we got the tutors available because both of my kids are like fantastic at math. And it's like, sooner or later you start getting into calculus and stuff. And that's a little bit past my abilities. So, go and hire a tutor for a couple days a week.
You never stopped talking to your daughter.
We were always very, very involved with education. Exactly. And it was good because we can either reinforce what's being taught in class, or we can say, yes, this is what the textbook says, but here, let's look at it from a different source, and so they get a well-rounded education. Then you have to, as a kid in school, you got to kind of march by the beat of the drum that is there from the faculty, but that doesn't mean your learning stops there.
Exactly, and Eva, she sat there and said, "Yeah, even though I am age enough, I still submit to my peers, elders, and more. I don't know how much that has an effort or effect on anything. If you listen, if your parents talk to you, and if you talk to them, you will learn their experience, and that's where being a parent is being a parent. Kids don't have experience. We do. How do I know not to put my finger in a light socket? Experience. How do I know not to go out and run around naked in the rain when it's 30-degree weather? Experience. Experience tells me what's going to happen.
I don't know, man. I don't need to break my arm to figure out that shit hurts.
Well, but exactly. But the thing is, you know what things not to do to have that happen. Kids don't always. Kids are fearless. They're going to try the stupid stuff unless you say, I want you to think this through. Okay? And that's being a parent. We can warn. We can't tell them not to, but we can warn them. And when they see that we were right, which 9 times out of 10 we are, they come back or they listen a little bit more. That's being a parent. Today, because everybody now has everybody has to work. Nobody stays at home. If you stay at home, you should be getting high. That type of mentality, people aren't really paying attention to the kids. They sit there and say, oh, well, my kid's got a game system, or we've got TV, we've got Netflix, we've got after-school stuff. But where's the parenting? The parenting teaches our kids experience and tells them
here's a lesson. I have a lesson.
Okay.
Don't lick your friends.
Okay. Do I want to hear how that one came about?
Well, I'm getting some updates on the coronavirus outbreak.
Okay,
the
there you go.
U.S. has now confirmed 5 cases of this new virus that is from China, all among people who have traveled to the city at the center of the outbreak.
Oh, wow.
2 new cases were reported today, one in Los Angeles County in California, and the other one in Maricopa County, Arizona.
And there's one up in Seattle.
There is one up in Seattle. There was a suspected case down here at Baylor University, which is in Waco.
They said they're watching 60-some people still?
Yeah. They haven't either confirmed. They haven't confirmed the case the case that happened in Texas that happened on Friday.
Yeah.
So yeah, kind of lay off licking your friends, especially if they've been to China.
And Ronald, yes, it's also observation. Kids, they see us, and how we act is how they think. That's their cue as to what's okay. And a lot of people forgot that, because when I was young, I used to watch people who would do all sorts of stuff in front of their kids, and they sit there and say, hey, you want to go out with us, get together and have our kids? And I said, hell no, I don't want my kids around you. And they'd look at me funny. I said, you don't realize how much your kid is mimicking you. And I just watch your kid do something you do. And that your son or your daughter is going to end up thinking that's okay. And I don't want my kid learning that. See, that's the stuff that it used to be, and I don't know if you can attest to this, but I can still attest to it. It used to be money wasn't the object of pride. Proud parents were able to say that their children had an honest job, had a good marriage going, had a healthy family, and we're doing better. Not better money, better as far as overall picture. Then it at some point, and I think I can say it kind of happened in the 80s. Better meant money, and it became all about who had, my son is a lawyer now, my son is a doctor now, my son makes this.
Who doesn't like to brag on their kids though?
But it used to be bragging on the children meant my son has a good job, 3 kids who are all healthy, going to school, doing well. That used to be bragging. And it's not anymore.
I think the world's become a little bit more materialistic.
I would go with that 100%. And that's the problem. The materialism is probably the biggest problem we have.
Yeah, but you become an adult, and it's just like your materialistic kind of ends with, I just got a brand new vacuum cleaner, and you're like smiling ear to ear. Mm-hmm. I'm smiling ear to ear because I just bought new countertops for my house. That's awesome.
Exactly.
I love
that. People sit there, and everybody's heard me talk about getting a motorhome. To me, it's not about it's worth this or this. It's a fact. I'm not going to hurt myself when I pull into an RV space. And it's about my son being 30, who's working, who is a mechanic, and he's doing well. And he's autistic, but he is doing well. He is doing well without me. Those are the things that I was taught. And I saw that change within a matter of years after I left high school. And I thought it was sad. And the thing is, it's carried on. And that's what we have to get away from. As grandparents and parents, we have to say to our kids, it's more important that you're healthy.
Even having my daughter here, as an adult, she's an adult, man. Mm-hmm. She just turned 21 in November. Even when she was here and going to school, I caught myself, and I've apologized to her over and over and over again. Mm-hmm. She'll always be 4 years old to me. So it's really, it's habit of going in there and trying to show her, how to do things or whatever. And she's like, Dad, I got this. I know what I'm doing. I'm like, I'm just like, I'm going to leave the room. If you need help, give me a call.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be in the next room. I mean, she's more, both of my girls are more than capable of doing it. They've been raised correctly and raised right, and they know how to make the right and the wrong decisions. So, and they know that consequences come from bad decision making.
And that's just it. We have to allow our kids to make bad decisions so they understand that there's consequences to them. And so that when they make the right decision, they know it.
And I think the latest, I think it was a bad decision for my oldest to move back and go and finish her education up in Montana. I think she had a really good thing going here.
I agree.
And it's just, that was her decision. I don't agree with it, but hey, she has my support. And we talk a lot. It's mostly texting, but
yeah,
we do communicate a lot.
And that's a good thing.
Yeah. She's sick of the snow.
I don't blame her. I'm sick of...
And then I text her back. I'm like, yeah, I think it was 70 degrees today. This is great. I had the windows open in my house today.
Linda's son has Asperger's and he managed to get in. You ought to be so proud. That is excellent. My son is just enough to where they said he couldn't go in, and he wanted to. So, be proud of your son. He's now rappelling out of helicopters. Oh, no, excuse me. I correct myself. He's actually jumping out of airplanes. He's in the 82nd. Very good. No, I don't like being on my phone or technology devices with my pet is on the bedroom. I'm not meaning to lecture, and I apologize. This is something that I think we, as military, need to remember we can be the example. And you guys have already heard me say, what's hurting you guys from going and getting a teaching degree? Especially if you're already medically retired, you already have a pension coming in. It's not like you need to go get a high-paying job. You've already got one income coming in. You can go ahead and take a job that's maybe doesn't pay as well, but the satisfaction of teaching those kids, that would be priceless.
See, I don't know. My ex-wife was she was a science teacher.
Yeah.
A middle school science teacher, and then she went and got her master's degree, and she became a school counselor, and then she got her PhD, and now she teaches up at the college level.
Yeah.
And I just remember when she was still in the middle school level, just dealing with the kids. And some of them, I guess it would be extremely rewarding. Others, it would be very frustrating.
Well, but that's like in the service. Come on. How many, it was the same thing as a sergeant in the service. You got some that all you could do is sit behind them, go cheering because they were just so damn good. And then you had those privates that you just looked at going, God, if you don't get a court-martial in Article 15 before
how the hell did you make it out of basic?
Yeah, really. How the hell did you make it out? It's airborne, Wade, airborne. But no, that's I reiterate that to you guys, not because I expect it of you, but think about the fact that when you were in the service, remember those privates that came in. Now, had they had a better teacher, what kind of difference would that have made? Now, imagine if we had a whole school full of retired Army sergeants. How would those kids come out? With a different perspective.
Possibly, yeah.
With a perspective of reality, because that's what, come on, that's what Army sergeants teach, reality. That's what I taught. When I got privates who sit there and say, but Sarge, one, I am not a fish on the bottom of the ocean sucking crap, so do not call me that. And two, if you do not understand reality, let's go out for a week and I will show you reality. That's the way life is. And unfortunately, kids these days, they're kept in a bubble, you know? They're kept in a bubble, and that's the sad part about it all. And I didn't mean to be a Debbie Downer about this, guys. I'm trying to. I'm always a person who believes we need to be there for the people, for the younger generations, because our parents were there for us. Our grandparents were there for us. Ropey says, "Hey Al, remember the battle survivors? Who would have known who was going to survive and who did? That is the luck of the draw in war, bros." Exactly. That's exactly right. We can change things. I mean, I'm going to say it. You guys made it through basic training. You made it through AIT. You made it through war. You made it through the military. Even if you didn't make it through war, you served 4 years minimally. And that is more than 96% of the population. If you can make that, you can make it. You can do anything. And you can change a kid's life just by giving them the reality of what you were taught in the military. Because no drill sergeant came up and petted your hand and said, don't worry about it. Nobody's going to shoot bullets at you. In war, bullets don't kill people. It's just like the video games. No drill sergeant said that. They said, dude, keep your ass down or you die. That's the truth. That's the type of thing you need to keep in mind as a parent and as a grandparent. That's what we teach to our next generation.
I think I can wait a little bit longer before I become a grandparent. I don't think I'm ready for that yet.
I was going to say, yeah, I can just sit there seeing you going, oh, God, I don't want my daughter pregnant. God, I don't want my daughter pregnant, let alone I don't want to meet the guy who got her pregnant.
It's crazy. My kids aren't ready for that yet.
No.
They know that. They're finishing up their education first.
Mm-hmm.
But even working with some of my coworkers, we're about the same age, and they have young kids, like 6, 7, 8 years old.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, I remember when my kids were that old and how exhausting it was, because they were in a lot of activities, just wake up, go to school, come home, do homework, and go to bed. It was dance classes, it was gymnastics, it was tutoring classes and music lessons, and it's a lot, man.
Yeah.
And it's especially when you become older, it's just it's exhausting. It is exhausting. And then compound that with, if you have a special needs kid, that's just even more.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I'm happy for the experience that I have, and I can't imagine going through it again, especially with other challenges thrown in to the mix.
Exactly.
Balancing your work life with your personal life and your family life. And it's a lot.
And that's what we need to be able to be there to bring the reality. I'll be honest, I would love to be a teacher. Excuse me. I would love to be a teacher. I can't keep the hours. Otherwise, I would go and become a teacher. I'm not preaching it because I can't, I'm telling you because I'm doing it. I would love to do it. I can't do it. Physically, not capable. But some of you can. And then the question is, what's stopping you? Especially come on, guys. Some of you get decent paychecks from the military. What's stopping you from saying, okay, well, then I can take a teacher's salary and I'll be just fine. And they need elementary teachers. They need kindergarten teachers. They need special ed teachers. And that, right in and of itself, would give you the chance to look at that perspective and give those kids a little bit of reality, even if it's just a little, something their parents don't give them. Because I see a lot of parents, and a lot of parents say, "Oh, that's not, that's not the way it is," and it's like, why are you lying to them? Mind you, I don't think in telling a kid that Santa Claus doesn't exist when they're 1 or 2 years old, but I don't think you want to keep them the wool pull over their eyes till they're 18 either.
That was a sad day for me when my oldest figured out, hey, Santa's not real. I was like, oh.
Right.
But then she's like, it's okay, Mom and Dad. I'll keep the secret just so Jesse can believe.
Aw.
I was like, oh, this is awesome.
But yeah, so think about that. And I'm not gonna go on, and we are at the top of the hour anyway. Yeah, really. That's just something to mull over and think about. I mean, if you're looking for a direction in life, and some of you are, that's something to think about because, I mean, it's rewarding. Not every child is going to be a reward, but all it takes is one. So, all right, everybody, we are at that time where it is at the top of the hour, and Mr. Koz needs to go eat and take his dog out for a walk and then go to bed.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, I'm going to go ahead and cut to break. We're going to take a 10-minute break. You want to give any last-minute words before you head off for the week?
Yeah, lay off the Sicilian pizzas.
All right, everybody. I'm going to give you guys a quick 10-minute break. I will be back in 10. Go smoke them if you got them, and we will be back in 10.
See you later, guys. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you for tuning in.
WTF Nation Radio.
Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
please enjoy the show. Shots.
All right, we are back. And welcome to the second hour of Kicking It with Koz. And I am not Koz, I am Owl. Welcome back. It is good to see everybody. The first hour was interesting. We definitely talked about several things, and including, Kobe going down in a helicopter with his daughter and 9 other people. We also talked about parenting and what happens when we don't parent. How do things end up? And then we come to here. It is time to talk about silly stuff because you know what? Who wants to be tired, dark, drab, and dark? So, welcome. I am happy to be here. I hope you are happy to be here. It is always happy. I am always happy to see people coming in, and especially newcomers. Welcome. So how are you feeling? Ready for the second hour? Are you looking forward to your next week? I know I am. Now that my wrist is moving perfectly fine, I can go back to my weightlifting, and then I can also get back into my streaming. I'm going to start my video series this week. I'm determined to get that started this week. So, you know what? It always comes forward. Everything, that's the one thing that you can always say, everything moves forward. Even if, and I've heard people say that, oh, well, it's moving backward. No, it's still moving forward. It just may not be the way you want it to go. So, all right, everybody. Let's do some stories. Let's have a little bit of fun. Let's see how people think just for the heck of it, right? All right, let me go with. Did you know? Excuse me. That there was, and I say was for a reason, a satellite specifically for selfies. I did not know this until I read this story. A Samsung pseudo space satellite crash landed Saturday on a family farm, and I think I forgot to do something. Ooh. I got the wrong picture. Hold Hold on. I think give me half a second. I can remedy this real quick. Shoot, I betcha. There it is. All right. Kansas man asked judge to let him engage in sword fight with ex-wife's lawyer. With ex-wife, Kansas man has requested that an Iowa judge grant him a trial by combat so he engage in a sword fight with his ex-wife and her attorney, according to reports. David Ostrom, 40, of Paola, Kansas, said his ex-wife, Bridget Ostrom, 38, of Harlan, Iowa, and her attorney, Matthew Hudson, have destroyed him legally, according to a January court filing. The Des Moines Register reported. He asked the Iowa District Court to give him 12 weeks to find katana and wakizashi swords for his requested battle, per the Carroll Times-Herald. Okay? To this day, trial by combat has never been explicitly banned or restricted as a right in these United States. Did you know this? Okay. He said it was used as recently as 1818 in a British court. The couples had been engaged in court disputes over custody and visitation rights, as well as property tax payments. David Ostrom said his motion also stemmed from frustration with Hudson, who argued that because a duel could end in death, such ramifications likely outweigh those of property tax and custody issues. It should be noted that just because the U.S. and Iowa constitutions do not specifically prohibit battling another person with a deadly katana sword, it does not prohibit a court sitting in equity from ordering same. He asked the court to suspend David Ostrom's visitation rights and undergo a court-ordered psychological evaluation. Judge Craig said in a Monday court filing that he won't issue a decision anytime soon, citing irregularities with both sides' motions and responses. Oh my. I wish I had thought of this. Oh, gosh. Oh, and now I know why I did this wrong. Oh, that was the wrong one. Okay, I need to X that out, and let's go in here real quick. Apparently I pulled up the wrong stories, and that's why I was reading the wrong thing. Okay, there we go. Can you imagine going in and saying, okay, judge, I want a death or a divorce by death. I mean, yeah. Oh, that would be funny. The challenge gets to choose a champion. See, there we go. AL1 combo. There you go. Out of the box thinking. Yeah, you know, I wouldn't think of that. You know, sure, I'll take you up on that, but I choose a champion. Oh, jeez. Eva, I'm totally ready to purchase a full body cleanse. Eva, I actually do cleansings. Rob, Redleg is semi-retired. He comes out and pops his head up every once in a while. Otherwise, he life definitely takes turns, and definitely he is a part of life at the moment. Can you imagine, though, walking in and saying, okay, I want a divorce, but I challenge you to the death. And I choose my champion as, and then come up with some truly great warrior and say, he's my champion. And the other person's going, And you don't know, and I don't blame the judge. This would be a hard one to look at and go, okay, what do I do with this? Because, okay, obviously the guy who's requesting a divorce by death is not necessarily firing on all cylinders, but then you know that something's going on with her too. So it's like, Rob, yes, the shenanigans a few years ago were epic, and it's not that we don't try to have fun here still. We just don't like getting banned or kicked off air, okay? Oh, yeah. I just can't imagine. I'm on my 4th marriage, so I have to admit that's kind of why it tickled me. I can't imagine if I would have walked into the judge and say, "Oh, judge, you know what? I want to go ahead and request divorce by death, and we'll duel to the death, and whoever wins wins everything." As tempting as it would have been. I mean, the fact that he could read constitutionally, that's the funny part. Constitutionally, there's nothing there saying it can't happen. Linda, if you're having problems seeing comments in the room that you're in, sometimes you have to refresh the room. That's about sometimes the room, and sometimes nobody's really talking. Right now, I can only see Eva talking in the Moments room, and I see Rob talking in the radio room. And then I have another one telling me who's talking in other rooms. So sometimes, you may be just the only one talking at the moment. No, and that's okay. Don't get me wrong. I like people talking. You are more than welcome to talk. Please talk. I enjoy chat. That's why the word chat means, is you can chat to me, and I will try to respond. Yeah, Rob, that was the problem, is sometimes tits and shots did get us banned. Or closed down for a little while. And, well, at some point you just have to decide to, do you keep going with that, or do you kind of try to mix it up a little? I'm the mix-up. Take that how you will. Oh, my. Here's another story for you all, just for fun. Excuse me. Here we go. Vultures overrun Texas radio tower, cause communications headaches for Border Patrol agents. Invading vultures have become a safety hazard near the U.S.-Mexico border, where a 320-foot radio tower is located. U.S. Customs and Border Protection is now asking contractors for proposals to get rid of uninvited birds with netting, according to records. The agency owns the radio tower in Kingsville, Texas, that 300 vultures now call home. A Customs Border Patrol request for information says a population of vultures have built up and are roosting and nesting on the tower structure, on the railings, catwalks, supports, and on rails and conduit throughout. Droppings mixed with urine are on all of these surfaces throughout the interior of the tower, where workers are in contact with it, as well as on areas below. Quartz, which broke the story Friday, quoted a Customs Border Patrol spokesman as saying the vultures will often defecate and vomit from their roost onto buildings below that house employees and equipment. Oh, there are anecdotes about birds dropping prey from a height of 300 feet, creating a terribly and dangerous situation for those concerned. Customs Border Patrol hopes the winning bidders, vulture determining deterrence netting system will be in place by August before the birds' fall roosting season begins. Oh, oh, Rob, I'm so sorry to hear that, man. That sucks. um, yeah, could you imagine if you were allowed to do that duel? That would have been nice, huh? Um, I get that. Trust me, I get that. Um, I would have definitely been going, you know what? Yeah, let's talk getting an MP in trouble. Why don't we? Yeah. That sucks. Everybody knows the old the Jody song, and it's funny when you're singing cadence, but it's not so funny when it happens. And that's all I can say to that. About my Wi-Fi, I feel too heavy. It didn't stick to my New Year's resolution, or they're starting to flourish. It's like meh, the priority list. Okay. All buzzards are protected along with the politicians. Sorry. Okay. Oh, yeah. I love to have settled my divorce by duel. You know, being that I've actually been through 3 divorces, I would have loved to too. Because I would say this: if they allowed divorce by duel, I think people would be a little smarter about how they do things. It's how do I put this? It would be a little bit easier, or a little bit harder, I should say, on people to sit there and say, well, I'm going to go screw around, and then if I get caught, I'll divorce. You would think at that point people would go, there is divorce by duel. So maybe if I'm going to do that, I'll go ahead and ask for a divorce before I do that. And that may sound, semantics, what came first. But truthfully, as the person who's on the other side of it, I would have rather they divorced me before they did that, and then me learn about it. At least that's showing some respect. Congratulations, Rob. That's cool. I don't think that a lot of people, to me, that's not showing respect for what love you did have, and I think it's very cruel. So glad I didn't get that marriage when I thought I wanted it. Ropey. All right. No, it comes down to it seems like there's a lack of respect out there for each other. And none of my ex-wives will tell you I was disrespectful. I was respectful enough to say I want a divorce before I did anything. They were not. And 2 out of the 3 came back later and actually said they were grateful for me being respectful, and they actually apologized. There's, yes, I went in the service, and yes, the service teaches honor, but I had already been taught honor. And a lot of guys believe in honor, and sometimes you just have to wonder where people learn their life lessons. Oh, Linda, that's not good. Excuse me. So that's just things that, think about. Max sent a Facebook friend request a few years back how she could think we could be friends now when we weren't friends when we were still married. Exactly. I mean, that's something I also learned. Marriage for love is good, and I do love my wife. Don't get me wrong, but I'm also friends with her, and that's one thing I have learned in life is, if I were to be a teacher, that's probably something I would teach. Is friendship is more important in a relationship than anything else. And some people will not like me when I say this, but you can fall in and out of love daily. But you're always friends. And friendship holds stronger and a lot longer. My wife and, like I said, my wife and I, Koz will tell you this. This is the funny part. Koz will tell you every Friday, he knows where I'm at. I'm at the commissary with my wife in the evening, holding hands, pushing a cart, talking, laughing, and just enjoying the company of my wife. On the weekends, everybody who knows me, I've had people say, I need to talk to you now. And it may take an hour before I'll even see that message, because I'm with my wife and I don't look at electronics that often. 8 years with first, 20 years now with second, married best friend this time around. Good for you, Rob. See, being friends, exactly, Ropey. Bonds are forever, like the brotherhood, and that's what you have to consider. If I were to give it any kidded advice, the first thing I'd say is marry your best friend. Don't marry a woman that was willing to jump into bed with you or who's great in the sack. Because if you married her because she looks good and she's great in the sack, well, looks do fade. And messing around the sack, sometimes even that fades. Stamina goes down, someone gets hurt. But friendship, now that's forever. Okay, no, that someone said my sister. No, we're not talking incest. Thank you for making sure I stipulate that. And no, I'm not saying become gay. What I'm saying is, if there's someone like I used to have a lot of gay male friends, and they were friends. And does that make me gay? No. But I had them as friends. I like women, period. No question about it. Now, I won't tell you the reasons why, but there are very specific reasons, okay? But because of that, being the best friend makes a difference. I never said there was anything wrong with being gay. I said I'm not. Do not put words in my mouth. I don't believe all are like my ex. He lost his honor somewhere. He was a major, a chaplain, blew harder, but I still pray for him. Yeah, exactly. I mean, some people get lost in, and I'll be honest. Some people can't deal with just friendship. They think that they have to have something like, oh, she's got to be great this, she's got to be great that. Well, you may have been that person. You may have been that person. But then they decided that they wanted their sex preference or they wanted something different in the bed, and you weren't there. And all of a sudden they got to change. So guess what they do? They drop you. Unless you would have been their best friend also. Because then they might have opened up and said, I need this too. Because that's part of a relationship is communication. We all know this. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for saying. Calligraphy. I don't know how to pronounce that street name. So, something to just keep in mind. Friendship beats everything out there, and something that we can teach to our kids and our grandchildren. Friendship. I mean, come on, when we were kids, remember when we were kids and sex was never really a thing? We were just kids running around, boys, girls, playing and doing stuff, and our best friend was a girl. And it wasn't, and we didn't sit there and say, well, she's a girl. No, I'm not talking that age. When you just ran around and it didn't matter. It's kind of how it is with me and my wife. She's my best friend. It doesn't matter. We're just best friends. We are. Exactly, Rob. My wife and I have been together since dating since 2005 and married since 2007. And I don't think we've had a fight. You go by Colit? Okay. Thank you very much for making sure I pronounce right. The best thing you can do in a relationship, and this is my life, looks, and I'll be serious, looks can be changed. Bodies change. Even what you do in the bed changes. But friendship doesn't. Okay? That, I guess, if I were to say anything, is probably the most important. And Rob, that's cool. 1998, that is really cool. And I didn't mean to get too serious on it on this note. I think about the whole dueling thing, and had I been, knowing my anger at the time, I probably would have said duel. It's tempting. Now that I think about it, it's still tempting. Silly me. We can dream. Our next story, related to the other one, is Florida vacation home overrun by vomiting, pooping vultures. Oh, cool. It's not quite the tranquil getaway his family had in mind. A New York couple's luxurious vacation home in Florida had been taken over by dozens of vultures, and birds are vomiting and defecating everywhere. Oh, jeez. Siobhan Casamano and her partner purchased the 3-bedroom, $702,000 home at Ibis Golf and Country Club in April. However, 4 months later, the two, who have a 2-year-old daughter, claim they are no longer able to visit because a neighbor is feeding the wildlife. Oh. I like you. You're thinking. Play whack-a-mole with sledgehammer. Okay. Casamino, who described the smell from the birds as like 1,000 rotting corpses, said she fears for her daughter's safety and has guests park far away if they do to visit, avoid the vultures pecking at the cars. Though the Casaminos were not aware of the bird problem when they purchased a home, nearby resident Cheryl Katz says she's been dealing with it for months. Imagine 20 vultures trapped, biting each other, and they can bite through bones. She said, they would bang against my windows, running away from a bird they were attacking that was attacking them. Blood was everywhere. It was a vile, vicious, traumatic event, and it was Memorial Day, so no company I called would come out to help me. Kat said an elderly woman it is said to be feeding the vultures. Kat claims she put out 4 20-pound bags of dog food a couple times a week. Oh, God. Feeding event is nauseating, and when the birds are done, they sit on my roof, on my trees. My poor guy's afraid to come here. My pool guy's afraid to come here. Oh, wow. Jeez. Yeah, feed the vultures, number 6 shot. Yeah, there you go. I can't imagine. That is disgusting. Oh, jeez. That is truly disgusting. Oh, wow. Can you imagine having? I mean, if you look at that picture, you imagine, and you're in this old little lady's out there feeding them, and you're like, lady, don't do this anymore. I mean, that's just wrong. God, talk about your bad neighbors. I actually have some neighbors. One who specifically feeds raccoons, but she does it for a good reason. She actually feeds the raccoons in our area so that the raccoons won't kill the cats. Because the lady feeds stray cats. She's got like I think they said she's up to like 12 or 20 stray cats that she feeds, and the raccoons actually come over at the same time and eat at the same time and then pet the cats. They don't hurt them. So that's weird. Bigger, and I would overcome, even though it was a very tiresome 2 years. You know, Linda, I do feel bad for you. That's rough. Someone just realized I'm wearing a t-shirt. Okay, I'm going to tell you. During the summer, I have to wear shirts that breathe because I'm in a room that gets hot and I can't turn on an air conditioner in here or it would kick off my circuit breaker because my computer takes a lot of energy because I'm running 2 computers, okay? So I have to wear the stuff that isn't heavy, that I don't, I'm literally wearing shorts when I do this during the summer and a very airy top, okay? But during the winter, it's cold in this room. So I actually have slippers on, warm-ups on, and heavier t-shirts. Thank you for noticing, Eva. You're very kind. But, so, I can relate to this story as far as, neighbors. Because my neighbor, luckily, she was doing it for the right reasons. I've actually had those raccoons come into my yard looking for food because apparently they missed their feeding time one time. It actually came into a yard and it was like trying to eat my then outdoor cat's cat food. And she was letting me know that something was there that was not supposed to be there. She was not very happy. Ropey, yeah. See, we have some wild pets here, or wild animals around here. We have 2 deer, two mama deers, that actually stay in our neighborhood when they're pregnant, have their babies here when they're pregnant. And you will actually see the neighbors get together and put out salt licks and stuff for them and feed them and their babies until it's time for them to move out. And then you'll actually see them one day. They just walk out and they go out to the countryside. And so we get wild animals out here too. We've even been known to have a coyote or two, or not coyote, cougars out in this area too. So. Exactly, Eva. But no, Rob, better electrician? No, I have an old house. It's old enough that I would have to do a lot. I would actually have to put in a new electrical panel, to be able to do an air conditioner where I would need to put it. So, no. So no, I'm not quite. I although I could, I guess I could talk to. I actually have a friend who's an electrician. He could possibly do that. I think. I think I have a breaker open. I could make it specifically for that. He could run a line up through the wall. Yeah, that would work. You gave me an idea. Thank you, Rob. My friend's not going to like you. But no. But that's the type of thing that happens with neighbors on occasion. Now let's go on to another story. This one is kind of silly. YouTube prankster appears in Australian court for scuba diving flooded car to liquor store in a viral video. People and their cars. A YouTube prankster who drove a car filled with water to a liquor store and bought beer during a heat wave has appeared in an Australian court to face charges related to scuba diving. Well, thank you, Rob. I appreciate the thought. Michael Alexander Filippo, 28, who has operated the Raka Raka YouTube channel with his twin brother Danny, appeared in front of the Christie's Beach Magistrates Court in Adelaide on Wednesday over several driving offenses. Filippo had posted the viral video in January showing him driving a modified Ford Laser with friend Jackson O'Doherty. The two were seen wearing goggles and scuba diving regulators while driving the sedan during the heat wave. Our car doesn't have air conditioning, so we designed a car which can drive while full of water, one brother said in the video. The suspension of the leaking sedan clearly struggled with the weight of water as it drove to a drive-in liquor store with Filippo and O'Doherty bought 2 bottles of beer and drank them underwater. Filippo posted a follow-up video in December that showed police arresting him over the stunt. He was charged with several driving offenses, including driving in a reckless or dangerous manner, driving an unregistered vehicle, and failing to wear a seatbelt. On Wednesday, an entourage of supporters surrounded Filippo outside the court, where he told reporters he wasn't worried. "I'm confident as always," he told Australian TV. "I've been ready for this. We've been training hard for this. It will be quick." Magistrate Susan O'Connor relaxed Filippo's bail conditions to allow him to travel interstate before he's set to appear in court next in February. Filippo and his brother have achieved a cult following with their videos and have been named influential cultural figures by the media. Jeez. Balmy here today. Mid-30s here. Glad to be back in single digits this week. Oh, you can keep that, Rob. We're actually in the 40s where I'm at, so I'm not too upset. Northern Minnesota. Oh. Now, can you imagine? Okay, I can't imagine all the sealant they had to come up with to put this car together. And then they're right, the suspension system and the fact that they had to seal off the floorboards, the doors, seal the windows on the inside because they're sealed on the outside, not on the inside. Yeah. Where the pedals go would have had them been sealed. Man, that would have been interesting. Trying to put that scheme together. They put a lot of effort into this. But still, at the same time, I wouldn't have want to been the person following behind them. because it's still, it sounds like it would have been funny and everything, but there is something to be said for seeing through the water and then seeing through the glass to see objects outside. There's going to be some distortion there. So I would have been a little, no thank you. I wouldn't want to have been around them. 34 there today, Rob. It actually hit 46 yesterday, and we're still in the 40s today, which is unusual. Not unheard of, just unusual. Normally by now we're in the below zeros. So I'm not complaining, mind you. I'm not complaining. Alaska says the cold won't drop down. Good news for Minnesota. Yeah, that is a good news, Ropey. Tell you what, I have drove through Minnesota, guys, and I have gone through when it has been as low as 40 below. So, no, thank you. That's you. They can keep that, and it was one of those, when the Alaska Arctic dipped down and caused all sorts of havoc. So no, I can do without it. Too much time on your hands. I remember that song. There you go, Linda. There you go. Driving with nods. Yeah, exactly. I mean, Rob, again, I would have hesitated to be around that car. Ready to go do some ice fishing. Now, you see, that's the good part about that cold up there in Minnesota. Y'all can do some ice fishing. Polar vortex. There you go. Thank you very much, Rob. Good call. Thank you for saying that. What was it? Last week, Koz told me, and he told you guys on air, his wife or his daughter, his oldest daughter, actually went ice fishing for the first time and caught herself a fish. That was actually pretty cool. Linda, my singing range is not that good anymore. Believe it or not, okay, let me see if I can pull it. I don't know if you can see it. Right here. That line there is an incision. I actually had back surgery back in 2000, 2001. They had to go through my neck to get to my spine to do a fusion, and when they did that, they actually injured my vocal cords. My voice, and you notice my voice is kind of higher pitch. I used to be able to sing every song from Queen without any problem. And those of you who are older would know the group Aha, I could actually sing Take On Me and hit those high pitches, those high notes, and hold them. So I don't sing that much because I don't like my voice, because it's now a baritone voice. But when I used to sing, I used to be able to sing any kind of higher, you name it, I could sing it, and I loved it. I used to love singing, and like I said, I could sing anything from Freddie Mercury. Hey, I could belt it out there. But things happen. Sucks from the northern states. I will be enjoying my DD14 in Cancun. Ooh, nice, Arturo. I hope you enjoy yourself. Don't get yourself burnt. That's how you end up with problems like me. I have skin cancer. Deer steaks, fried potatoes, and bourbon on the ice in my tent. Oh, Rob, that sounds so good. That sounds good, buddy. Have an extra drink for me when you do it. Excuse me. But those are the type of things, you go through in life. I would love to sing for you. I actually, when I sang that happy birthday song, that was for fun. But you won't catch me singing that often anymore. just because, like I said, my voice is not what it used to be, and it actually, I'll sometimes try to sing that, and that hurts so bad when I try to get in those high notes, and it's like, nah, not worth it. Anyway, excuse my coughing. Um, I'm looking for a fun story just for the fun of it. Oh, hey, here we go. Here's one from Minnesota, something we were just talking about. Minnesota railway tracks filled with perfectly placed corn spill for more than third of a mile. A northern suburb of Minneapolis resembled a scene of The Wizard of Oz this week after a freight train spilled enough corn to fill a stretch of railroad tracks. The photo of this impromptu yellow brick road, or in this case, several thousand feet of railroad tracks, in Crystal went viral after Mike Parker posted a picture on Twitter. Yeah, Rob, it does suck getting old. Corn spilled on the tracks by my house. The ducks and deer haven't found it yet, said Parker wrote. At the initial post, Twitter user Alex Borrell Forrest shared the photo on Monday, and it went viral, gaining over 15,000 retweets and over 100,000 likes. Many online immediately doubted how authentic the image was. This is the strangest, most aesthetically pleasing thing that I could have seen all day, one person says. Yeah, right. You have to worry about the wildlife at that point. You almost have to sit there and go, okay, you guys, we have to close off that third of a mile because you are going to be hitting anything and everything that figures out there's corn there. Corn spilled on the tracks by my house. The ducks and deer haven't found. Oh, hold it. No, I remember that. Excuse me. I bet the hopper bottoms come open and they didn't know about it, he wrote. Someone is going to have to answer for it all. By Tuesday, local media at the scene confirmed the photo was in fact real. The spill stretched for about 2,000 feet along the Canadian Pacific Railway line. Assuming the corn was about 1.5 inches deep the entire way, the Star Tribune estimated the spill would amount to about 900 bushels. That's about $3,400 worth of corn at Tuesday's prices on the Chicago Mercantile Exchange. The spill did not hamper train traffic through the area. 2 trains were spotted on Tuesday making their way along the yellow brick, or the now yellow pathway. Canadian Pacific Railway spokesman Andy Cummins told Fox News on Thursday morning the railroad has been made aware of the spill along its right-of-way in Crystal, and the crews were working to clean up the spilled corn. Neighbors who lived near the tracks told the Star Tribune they've seen grain spills before, but nothing like this week's. Its temperatures were warmer, said Gary Bates, who lives next to the railway. Birds would have, if the temperatures would have been warmer, birds would have swarmed the tracks. There are deer and raccoons in the area, but they've hunkered down in my guess. They didn't get the email. So far, no wildlife has died to this. But can you imagine? Oh my goodness. Yeah, right, Rob. Roadkill stew time. Jeez. Wow. When you look at that, yeah, someone's going to get in trouble for that, that's for sure. And then I have to get to this story. I'm always the health buff, and you all know this. Okay, popcorn stuck in man's tooth leads to life-threatening infection and open heart surgery. Get that, folks? 41-year-old British man who attempted to dislodge a piece of popcorn stuck in his teeth using various objects claims he later developed a life-threatening infection that required him to undergo open heart surgery. Adam Martin, a firefighter and father of 3 from Cornwall, England, said he noticed the piece of popcorn stuck in the back tooth after he and his wife watched a movie in September. For 3 days, he was unable to remove the popcorn. Makes me wonder, did he even try floss? He claims he had used multiple objects. Here we go. A pen lid, a toothpick, a piece of wire, and even a metal nail to remove the food, but was unsuccessful and even damaged his surrounding gum when doing so. Oh my God, just a piece of floss, people. A week later, Martin began to suffer from night sweats, fatigue, headaches, all of which he initially thought were signs of flu, but would later learn were signs of endocarditis, or an infection of the endocardium. Endocardium, the lining of the interior surface of the chambers of the heart. Okay. The infection occurs when bacteria from the mouth, skin, intestines, or other areas of the body enters the bloodstream. By October, Martin's symptoms had yet to subside, leading to see his doctor, who diagnosed him with a mild heart murmur and sent him home. But when he continued to feel unwell, he went to the Royal Cornwall Hospital. I had a feeling that there was something seriously wrong. I was sleeping an awful lot and I felt terrible, he recalled. Headaches, some pains in my legs, and I did not feel right at all. I was admitted to the hospital the same day for tests. By this point, I was very worried. I felt like I felt quite ill, and I knew I was not right at all. Scans of the dad's chest showed his heart was damaged due to the infection. He was then transferred to a different hospital where he reportedly underwent a 7-hour open heart surgery to repair his mitral valve and replace his aortic valve. His heart was not properly working anymore. It was essentially wrecked. The infection had eaten the valves away. Wow. Oh, jeez. And I'm reading something. I live on a large island on the coast of Maine. No deer hunting is allowed, and I would get wounded right up watching the ditches for deer like I am looking for IDs. 24 hours are reportable accidents on deer and car. Yeah, exactly. I mean, there are places you do not go during certain times just because you have to worry about hitting deer, right? And couple that with 90% Lyme disease infection rate with our tick population, I hate leaving my house. You know, Rob, people don't talk about that. And, you know, you guys, you saw me with my hand and it was infected, okay? You have to take things like that seriously. Eva, you're cute. That's cute. I was told by my doctor, had I not come in when I did, and she said I'd waited for another 4 or 5 hours, I would have ended up with a blood infection that would have spread and not just localized. In other words, it was local, but by that time it would have broke off and actually started going around my body. You do have to take things like this seriously. If you don't, well, all that guy really needed to do was use some actual floss, and he probably would have gotten that piece of popcorn out. But take things like that seriously. You just never know. You really don't. I didn't mean it ended on such a weird note. I mean, it is kind of stupid that he didn't just think, maybe I should use some floss. Come on. But, come on, using a nail? Oh, who thinks like that? I don't know. We are at the top of the hour, everybody. And it is time to go ahead and start shutting down. And so I'm going to go ahead and do house cleaning. We actually have a guest in 2 weeks. Dan Katona from OP Veteran. That's on the 9th of February, a Sunday. Denny Katona is the CEO of OP Veteran. OP Veteran's vision is to lessen the weight of each veteran's ruck by providing purpose, direction, and motivation, by encouraging engagement within the veterans community through continuing the mission of watching over our own. This is accomplished by establishing a fundraising and volunteer support system that empowers the veteran nonprofit community. Denny is a returning guest and will be on to talk about their 5th annual spring kickoff. Cool, huh? All right, everybody. We have shows. We have the Monday night edition with Flash and Ice. We have the Thursday Sergeant's Time with Ice and Spanky. We will be having more shows, so do not think that that is it, other than Monday, Thursday, and of course, Kicking It with Koz on Sunday. We are making a full lineup, so stay tuned for that, okay, everybody? All right, everybody, we're drawing to the end of our week. Rob asked us to please look up Operation Reboot. Okay, everybody, look that up. He recommends it, and maybe it's something you need to tell them to look us up too, Rob. I'm going to say what I always like to say. Remember, everybody, keep it simple, keep it real, and remember to smile. Because you just don't know who you have helped by just smiling at the right time to get to their day to where they can possibly smile too. And you never know, it may actually help turn around your day also. All right, everybody. We will see everybody back, hopefully, next week. I love y'all. Take care. Bye, Linda, Eva, Ropey, Rob, AL1, Camo, all of you, Heath, Ross, everybody. And if I missed you, don't think that I don't care and that I don't notice you. I love y'all. Take care. Have a good week. Start your week out right with a smile. And remember, your smile is just as important as everybody else, so don't think little of it. Think that much more of it because it emanates that much better. All right, everybody, I'm going to put on some music and I'm going to let y'all listen to it as we close out our show. Have a good one, and I love y'all. Good night.
Before coffee on a Tuesday, it's already been a bad week. My girls had a couple flats, and my dishwasher sprung a leak. From the kitchen, her complaining, you know it just ain't cute anymore. I get the itch and start to drift towards the great outdoors. I smell the honeysuckle blooms, I can see the red buds too. In my garage, I got rods up on the wall. I got a John boat in the yard under a faded camo tarp. I need a reset to my spot, I hear the call. I just gone fishing, let her know that I ain't gone. Junk mail don't come out there, my phone won't ring. The only thing I want to hear is my reel with a big one on a string. That large mouth don't talk at all, and my weight just sinks away. Set him free, bring him home, the one decision I gotta make. I smell the honeysuckle blooms, I can see the red buds too. In my garage, I got rods up on the wall. I got a John boat in the yard under a faded camo tarp. I need a reset to my spot, I hear the call. honeysuckle blooms. I can see the red buds too. I got the rods in my garage down all through my John boat in the truck, filled my camo cooler up. I hit the reset, hit my spot, and heated that car. I just gone fishing, let her know that I ain't gone. No, I ain't gone missing. I've just gone fishing, let her know that I ain't gone.
WTF Nation Radio.
Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
please enjoy the show. Shots.